Today we are going to learn about the softwares. So one much more outer layer is about the softwares. And the softwares, in fact, it contains like the system softwares and the application softwares, right? So today we learn about the system software, which is we refer to the operating systems and the file management. In fact, in our daily life, when we use the computer, we do not thought about the processors or the programs running behind the scenes to keep them functioning effectively, right? In fact, we just pay more attention on these. We call them application software, right? So there must be some softwares or some programs that are system softwares, which do some functionalities between the humanity and the hardware. It's an interaction. So such kind of programs, we call them system software. So for example, like the operating system, like the outside programs and the device drivers. So since in fact you use the computer every day in your daily life, right? As long as you use these computers in your daily life a lot. So do you know what would you do when your computer just stopped responding? Has your computer ever just stopped responding, and what do you do, or what did you do at that time? So in such kind of situation, we use some system software to do the controlling, right? For example, in the Mac operating system, X Activity Monitor can give us a view of every program that is currently running in the RAM, and you can maybe stop some non-responding software, so as to restart your system. Okay, so in today's chapter, we are going to contain 4 parts of today's chapter. In the first section, we are going to learn about the system software, which we mainly refer to these operating systems. And then we are going to talk about several today's operating system, okay, like the Mac operating system, like the Windows, like the Linux or Unix. Then we talk about the file management, including the file basics and the file management. So we have several learning objectives. Firstly, you need to know how to describe the difference between the system software and the application software. And then you may required to identify there are 4 types of system software. And then you should know how to explain the basic functions, the features and categories of the operating system. And define what is a memory management and what is a process management. And several others like compare some mobile operating systems like iOS and like Android and Windows Phone. And similar, you may compare some desktop operating systems, including like Windows, like a Mac operating system, like Unix, Linux, and virtualization. When you're running any of the operating systems, you may run a virtualized operating system in some virtualizer, such like a VMware or some similar software which can provide such kind of functionalities. So you can run both operating systems in. In fact, the real operating system is only one, but you can run both through this virtualization. And then the objection is that to explain the purpose of the OutD and OutD suites. And so firstly, in our first section, we are going to talk about the operating system basics. So it mainly includes three parts. First, we are going to talk about the system software. Okay, the system software. It is, in fact, it's not a single program, right? It's not a single software or single program, but it is a collection of programs that can handle hundreds of technical details. It interfaces with user, application, and the hardware, okay? So it works like an interpreter between the user and the hardware. So the end users mainly focus on the end users means the humans or all of you, right? The end users is here is end users. We mainly focus on this application software, such like the PowerPoint I'm using or the Microsoft Word, something like that, or the audio program which is playing your music. But between these and the hardware, we still have a gap, which is coordinated by these system software. We call them system software. So both here is software, and both here is hardware. And here is our human beings. And the software contains two parts. First is system software, and second is the application software. Okay, so the end users usually focus on application programs more than the system softwares. But in fact, it is quite important to understand how these system softwares work, right? Okay, so I also listed here, what does system software include? In fact, it may include 4 types of programs. The first is the operating system. Okay, so the operating system coordinates the computer resources, provide an interface between users and the computer, and run the applications. Okay, so it coordinates both these 3 parts, right? And then the second one is the entities. The entities perform some specified tasks related to managing the computer resources. Okay, the third one is the device driver. Okay, the device driver specialized programs that allow particular input or output devices to communicate with the rest of the computer system. And the fourth would be the language translator. It converts programming instructions into language that computer understand. That is, we convert some like C programming languages or the assembly programming languages. Anyway, several program instructions into the programs or languages the computer can understand. That means the machine language in the binary string. Okay, so basically, system software include these 4 kinds of softwares. Okay, so an operating system, we can say it is a type of system software. What type of system software? So this is its first property. It's a type of system software. But what kind of system software? It acts as the master controller for all the activities and take place within a computer's system. Okay. It has 3 features, 3 important keywords here for an operating system. So operating system is a collection of programs that handle many of the technical details related to using a computer. So in many ways, the operating system is the most important type of the computer program, because we can imagine if there's no functioning operating system, then the computer would be useless. It cannot be used very easily and very powerful. So in fact, in some situations, the operating system, in fact, it referred to as software environment or platform sometimes. So here I showed several examples about the operating systems, like the Windows or the Mac or the Linux. Okay, so let's check what's the operating system activities. Here I showed example. When we use some application software like the Microsoft Office and we want to print some files. So from here to here, the printer would output. Here we input a command to ask the computer to print some files, and from here till here, the printer finally output a file, a paper file that we required. What has been done inside the computer? In fact, a lot of softwares or programs are involved. We can say, as we give the print command in this application software, then such kind of application software process the application signals in the operating system, and then a document supposed to be sent to the printer. And the operating system communicates the document data to the device driver of the printer. And then the device driver controls the printer as it prints the document. So from the very first beginning to the output of a series of operations, in fact, several layers or levels of the software are involved, which are controlled by our operating system. So the functions that an operating system do, not only like this print, right, which we listed here, like ensure that input and output proceed in an orderly manner by communicating with these peripheral devices. It can also manage the processor resources that to handle different input, output, and processing tasks simultaneously. It can also manage the memory, right, by allocating the space for all the programs and data that are in use during a computing section. It can also keep track of storage resources, the second storage resources, so that the files and programs can be found and manipulated. It can also control the interface, the input and output, right? So it can establish basic elements of the user interface, such as the appearance of the desktop, the menus, and toolbars. So there are so many functionalities of the operating system. It can mainly be concluded as three groups of functions. First is, we say it's user interface, right? The user interface and graphic user interface. And secondly, it can load and run applications, right? Such as a word processor, a spreadsheets, a PowerPoint, something like that. The most operating systems support multitask, or the ability to switch between each different application stored in the memory. So the applications. And the third is to manage the resources and the memory. Okay. So we can categorize the basic functionalities of the operating system into three groups.